Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the February 24th Lebanon Board of Works meeting. Our first order of business will be the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now move on to the roll call of members. Madam Clerk, will you call the roll, please?
Mayor Gentry.
Present.
Becky McClure.
She's excused.
Bill Stoner.
Present.
Dick Robertson.
Present.
Alan Milburn.
Present.
Thank you.
All right, now we'll move on to the approval of the minutes from our previous meeting. Are there any edits to the minutes? Okay, we'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Make a motion, we approve the minutes.
Motion approved. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, minutes are approved. Next up will be the swearing in of two new officers tonight. Chief Morgan, will you step forward, please?
Good evening, Mayor, board members. I'd like to welcome and introduce our two newest officers to the public, Austin Brown and Mitchell Sobick. They are both graduates of the Indiana Law Enforcement Academy and have started their official duties with our department. The officers have each chosen someone special in their life to hold the Bible while they're sworn in. Austin Brown, would you and Derek Brown please come up?
Yeah. You can switch here. Left hand up and then right hand. No, right hand up. Sorry, left hand on the Bible. There you go. Repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Austin Brown,
Solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Indiana
and the Constitution of the State of Indiana
and all laws and ordinances
and all laws and ordinances
of the City of Lebanon.
of the City of Lebanon,
And I will faithfully
and I will faithfully
discharge my duties
discharge my duties
as an officer
as an officer
of the Lebanon Police Department
by Lebanon Police Department
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'd like to thank you for giving me this opportunity to work for the Lebanon Police Department. I mean, it's been a dream to become a police officer, so getting this opportunity is a dream come true. So, thank you.
Would Mitchell Sobick and his mother Susan Sobick please come forward?
Right hand up, left on the Bible. Yeah, sorry. All right, repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Mitchell Sobick,
Solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Indiana
and the Constitution of the State of Indiana
and all laws and ordinances
and all laws and ordinances
of the City of Lebanon.
of the City of Lebanon,
And I will faithfully
and I will faithfully
discharge my duties
discharge my duties
as an officer
as an officer
of the Lebanon Police
of the
Department
Lebanon Police Department
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability,
So help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
I would just like to thank, first off, my family for being here and Lydia for coming today. And for my entire family's support throughout this process. It has also been a dream and goal of mine to become a police officer. And I honestly couldn't imagine a better place to start my career besides here in Lebanon. So to the board, to the police department, anyone who was in the hiring process and chose to select me, I'll be forever grateful, and I can't wait to give back to the City of Lebanon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor and board.
Thank you, Chief. Just on behalf of the board, we want to extend you our well wishes and wish you a long and safe career with the City of Lebanon, and I appreciate you being willing to take up the mantle to protect our community. So thank you, gentlemen, very, very much. All right, next we'll move on to department head reports. Chief, I don't know why you ran away. You have a police department report to give? Or Major Morgan? Oh, fair enough, that'd be fine. Major Morgan?
Good evening, Mayor, Board. During the period of February 11th to today's date,
Major Bales, I'm so sorry. Major Bales, I don't know why I said Major Morgan.
you're fine.
Major Bales.
The Lebanon Police Department responded to 677 calls for service. A total of 16 persons were arrested for the following crimes: 3 for driving while suspended, 2 for operating while intoxicated, 1 for possession of marijuana, 1 for possession of methamphetamine, 2 for possession of a controlled substance, 1 invasion of privacy, 5 wanted on warrants, and 1 for criminal trespass. A total of 9 handgun carry licenses were sent to the state for final approval. On February 13th, Officer James Kuntz completed a youth protection training through the Boy Scouts of America. This will allow him to act as a leader and mentor in all scouting activities in Indiana. During the first week of February, Officer Trey Hendricks completed the National Association of School Resource Officers Basic SRO course. And on February 18th and 19th, our department hosted Firearm Investigations Liaison Training. The course was taught by our crime scene techs, Colleen Clark and James Kuntz. This course was attended by Officers Trey Kamaj, Clark Lecker, and Eric Taylor, as well as officers from Whitestown, Zionsville, and the Boone County Sheriff's Office. Our hiring process is still ongoing. Actually, the applicants are scheduled this week for their police board interviews on Wednesday, and we're hoping to hire 2 officers from this process. And I wanted to mention one more thing I had here. For the public or anybody that would be interested, we are hosting a chaplain's course March 16th through the 20th. The training is available to anyone who wants to take it, not just clergy. Cost is $350 for the course, and they can contact Captain Warmoth or myself if they have any questions.
Okay. Thank you, Major Bales. Any questions from the board?
No.
Any questions for the public? Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next up is Fire Department, Chief Batts.
Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasant surprise to report our calls for service have gone down significantly. Unfortunately, we've had some very serious calls in the last 2 weeks, several structure fires. But since the last Board of Works, Lebanon Fire has made 110 emergency calls for service, performed 69 commercial inspections, and installed 2 car seats, and we've also logged 464 training hours. So we were able to boost our inspection program and our training hours with losing some calls for service. On February 17th, firefighter Noah Rinker started his Instructor 1 certification class. Very happy with Noah and his progress at Lebanon Fire. He was ready to step up into this new role. And once again, Instructor 1 certification is a base certification for our firefighters that are wanting to move up in rank. Our 2 lateral transfer firefighters have a start date of March 16th. Both firefighters will go through a 40-hour basic training course before they get put on shift. They will be evaluated after that 40 hours to see if they're where we want them to be and ready for shift. So again, those are our lateral transfer firefighters. Lebanon Fire is currently participating in 2 programs with the Lebanon Community School System. The first is the Health Career Student with the Lebanon High School, and the second is the Service Learning Project with the Lebanon Middle School. The Health Career Students, we have about 8 students that are visiting both stations a couple times each week. They're doing the daily duties, inspections, and training while they're at work or while they're at the stations, along with the emergency calls for service. The Service Learning Project is focused at the middle school with the 8th graders, and we go to school and we discuss our career with them. They will then come to the fire station, get some hands-on experience with some training and tools, and then we will come together and do a project for an organization in the community. So the last couple weeks have been very busy with training. All 3 shifts spent time last week in Indianapolis training for high-rise and hotel fire scenarios. This was organized by the Washington Township Avon Fire Department. The training focused on search and rescue in large commercial structures with breaching, hose line advancement, fire attack, and rescue using elevated devices. There was also a RIT scenario and standpipe connections training. We are very appreciative of this opportunity to be able to go down and train at this structure. We got great reviews from the crews. And that's all I have for this evening.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions from the board?
No.
Anything from the public? Okay. Next up is Parks Department, John Messenger.
Good evening. We just completed our second round of open interviews this summer for summer positions, and now I've hired over 17 new employees. I have some sharp kids out there. We'll still have a few openings available for teenagers, 15 years or older. Please apply at the Parks office. There again, I have some really good kids. I think we're about staffed up to 55 now, so looks good for this summer. We also are ahead of schedule with all our winter projects. Just to name a few, Civic Rec software, our park impact fees, and construction of the restroom and maintenance additions. They're roll along just fine, and we'll be way ahead of schedule thanks to this weather. Also, I know Mayor and Mr. Robertson are both interested in the pickleball court. Spoke to him today. About 3 weeks out, they'll start the work there and be completed pretty quick. They won't be able to finish coat it until it's 55-degree weather, but looking good for that. And then I don't know how many people have been asking about that, so I think it's going to be well received. 2020 Daddy-Daughter Dance will be held Saturday, March 21st from 6 to 9 p.m. Tickets still available for $20 a couple and $5 additional child. Tickets can be purchased in the park office, and that's all I had.
Thank you, John. Any questions from the board?
No.
And the public?
Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Next up is Engineering Department, Kevin Krulik.
Good evening, board members. Engineering Department report for this evening. A few updates on downtown. Happy to report some of the tree lawn fencing has been going in on Washington Street. Should be wrapped up tomorrow, and that will be one of the key things, last remaining outstanding items to be finished. Also happy to report that I received notice last week that our street lights should arrive this week. That's 2 street lights for Meridian Street and 2 street lights for State Road 39. Those should be here sometime towards the end of the week. And then we are coordinating the installation of that with Lebanon Utilities, so we thank our friends there for helping us to stand those lights up. So hopefully within the next 2 to 3 weeks, we'll have those lights on and lighting things up nicely downtown. There's still a few things, tree and shrub warranty replacements to be done later this spring. There's the Meridian Street sidewalks. I did get an update from our contractor today. They're targeting the first 2 or 3 weeks in March to begin that work. Temperatures seem to be trending up. We seem to be probably hitting average highs in the 50s in the next 2 weeks. Unfortunately, it looks like it's going to rain for the next 2 weeks, so we'll have to play that game, but definitely temperatures are trending in the right direction to get back out and do some concrete work. So we'll keep you posted there, but we hope to wrap that up in March. Along with some drainage and curb replacements based on warranty work. We'll do that at the same time. And then Meridian Street resurfacing, I wouldn't expect that till in May, till those asphalt plants are fully up and running again. But again, we thank you for everyone's patience as we work through that. Also happy to report on the courthouse project, did receive an update from their contractor that their railings are in production and should be here in the next 2 to 3 weeks, and they'll be installing those here real shortly. And as soon as all the modifications to the doors and relocating the security equipment happens, they'll be ready to open up that south entrance to the courthouse here before too long. Indianapolis Avenue, we had a street lighting electrical inspection today. As soon as that gets wrapped up, there were a few things that didn't pass inspection on that, so as soon as those things are corrected, we'll get the lights on down there, so I would expect the lights to be on within a week or so. And again, reminding everyone that there's still quite a bit of work to be done, but all that work is really weather dependent. But as I said earlier, with the weather and the temperatures trending in the right direction, I would expect come March we'll begin to mobilize and get contractors back out there to wrap that work up. And that work I would expect to wrap up sometime in May as asphalt plants open and we complete the surface work down there. On that note, pavement resurfacing throughout the city. The NDOT funds have now been wired to the city, so we have issued a notice to proceed to the contractor, looking to schedule a pre-construction meeting later in the week. Remind everyone that is Grady Brothers, and they will have till November 30th to get those projects complete. Sidewalk replacement program, we're just working with our consultants on the right-of-way acquisition issues along Lafayette Avenue and Witt Road. We should have those narratives put in place and those directives completed and begin approaching homeowners for dedications of right-of-way in the next couple of days. Big Four Trail expansion, or the Big Four Trail grant process. Not an exciting announcement here, but we did get an announcement that we shouldn't expect an announcement until sometime late March. So they've kind of delayed what we thought would be an announcement period here. So we'll keep everybody posted, but I will say we feel good about where we're at. We're still getting questions from their review team, so that means to me that we're still in the running and still in the consideration for the Next Level Trails grant. So hopefully in the next 30 days, we'll know more. Grant Street, remind the public that we've got a public information meeting scheduled for this Thursday at 7 p.m., Thursday the 27th. We will probably be in this room because I believe there's a joint work session between council and the Utility Service Board in the room behind us. But we will be in here. So if you live in that corridor or concerned about the corridor, please stop by and we'll get an update from our engineering consultants and be able to take a look at the preliminary plans and see where we go from here. Keep in mind, there's a couple of small projects we'll be doing this year. One would be to do the storm sewer work on William Street, to get that out of the way from the William Street Bridge project, which will be under construction by Boone County in 2021. And then we'll fall back into 2022. We will be bidding the Grant Street project, and in 2023, that is scheduled for construction. Fordyce Street is the next major project we're working towards. Again, we're still working on developing final scope from the community workshop meeting that was held, exploring options to extend that project to East Street, or at least the trail portion of that project to East Street, so we can connect our East Street trail to the east end of the city. And later tonight, there is a survey proposal associated with that work that will be up for your consideration. An update on the Lebanon Bike Park, still obviously very optimistic. We published about a week ago information from our public workshops and where we stand on that. As of right now, between the post for the initial project and this update, we've reached about 30,000 people on Facebook, which is a very, very exciting turnout, very much a lot of people interested in the project. We're beginning to finalize project goals and objectives. We'll talk more about this later tonight at the council meeting. But really the primary goal that's risen to the top of this is to activate a family-friendly facility, to create a healthy facility for active families. We're working with local partners. We're working with Witham Hospital on that to help make that happen. But we want to create an opportunity for all riders, all skill levels to be able to use that park. And this goes right into our next goal is our partnership with NICA. Again, we'll be up for, an MOU will be up for consideration later this evening, but NICA is the National Interscholastic Cycling Association. We're looking to create the first nationwide built and designed from the ground up riding center that NICA will promote, will host events at, that will become a hub for the region and the state for youth cycling. Also, a key project objective and goal is sensitivity to the surroundings. Again, working with our consultants to make sure that we're maximizing the use of the landfill material, that we are not in any way compromising that we're building a weather-resistant trail system, that we're cognizant of air quality and water quality issues associated with that. And we're also trying to be socially conscious as well, making sure that we're not disturbing our neighbors. We've had a lot of good feedback from our neighbors, and those are now coloring how we are preparing the concept plans to minimize those impacts to view sheds and sound sheds for our neighbors. Also, it's important to mention tourism and economic development. With the NICA partnership, this will bring in a lot of visitors to our community, and there's some good opportunities there. We're already working with the Convention and Visitors Bureau of Boone County, presenting to their board in April. And we've also had good support from our local business partners, and we see there being additional economic development improvements and implications from facilities such as this. So more to come on that, but we're excited for the direction that is going. Regional attention, in the last couple weeks, you've executed some contracts, or authorized us to execute contracts to develop strategies for our additional detention facilities and the expansion of our first facility. Happy to report those are moving forward. We got meetings scheduled this week to begin to develop those strategies ahead of some development pressures that we're feeling that need those infrastructure amenities. Lebanon standards, last time we met, you guys approved our new Lebanon standards for construction, and that will be up at consideration later this evening at the council with an ordinance to adopt those. Sunbrook and Sunbrook Villas, last time we met, we talked about the crossing of County Road 250 North for the sanitary sewer extension. As of earlier today, we've gotten updates from the contractor. They are targeting March 4th and 5th for that work. So we've already been working with public safety and the school transportation office to make sure that everyone is aware of what's going to happen. But as it stands right now, we would anticipate that the road would close in the morning of March 4th. It would be closed all day on the 5th, and it would reopen the morning of the 6th. So we'd really have 2 full days there on the 4th and the 5th where the road would be closed for that sewer work. We've also seen revised plans for the villas while we're speaking of that we're currently reviewing, and they hope to be under construction later this spring. Road impact fees, next thing to update you on, just letting everyone know that we are moving forward with that based on some direction that we heard at the last set of meetings. We're looking to finalize our traffic count data information around the 1st of March. Obviously, we have an additional funding authorization that is pending that will take place later in the spring. But we do look to continue moving forward with our capacity analysis and developing our ordinance. Keep in mind, we do need to form an impact fee advisory committee. So if you have any interest in serving on that, we do need a few members of the community to serve on that. That will be probably no more than a 3-meeting commitment, but we do need to have at least 5 members, no more than 10. We need to also have the development community represented, so there'll need to be some people, obviously, from outside of the realm of boards and commissions and councils. But if you have anybody in mind, please feel free to get that back to me. I would appreciate any recommendations you might have. That's all I have for right now.
Got a lot of stuff like usual. Any questions from the board? Anything for the public? Okay, thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
Do you want to do the street department while you're here, or?
I can do that. I have it right here. Yes, Mr. Newell has come down with a bug, like so many of us around the city seem to be coming down with, so he's at home sick this evening. But the street department report, they've been out busy cleaning off drains with the rains and the forecast. That's really important that we make sure any of the leaf debris, the storm debris from the winter is getting cleaned off of those drains so that they were functioning properly. I've been doing some miscellaneous sign repairs, stuff that might have been damaged with hazardous road conditions and things of that nature. Those are getting repaired as well. They were out on the 13th for the last snow removal event. They used 45 tons of material during that event for a total cost of that material of $4,265. They continue, as the weather allows, to do hot mix patching and cold mix as needed, filling potholes around the city. But all in all, it's been a pretty mild winter, and the potholes have not been as extensive as they have been in previous years. They have received 40 calls since the last Board of Works meeting, 6 related to brush pickup, 20 related to trash and recycling, 3 walk-ins, 5 Facebook requests for various reasons, 5 being stormwater, and one thank you note as well. So that's the street department report.
Okay, any questions from the board? Okay, thank you, sir. Next up is Planning Department, Ben Bontrager.
Good evening, board members. Planning Department continues to remain busy during the wintertime. We completed another 25 building inspections and issued 24 more new permits, one of those being a new residential permit. So we're continuing to see good activity through the winter on our residential home construction. From a code enforcement perspective, we continue to remain busy on a lot of our main points. We've got a number of unsafe structures we're dealing with right now. Trash and debris is always an issue that we're hitting hard on, and then same with junk vehicles and other vehicles parked illegally. So continue to remain busy there as well. In terms of a couple other minor things, just want to point out for anybody that's interested, Planning Department still does have 2 jobs posted on the city website. We have a code enforcement assistant planner position and then also a building inspector position. So if anybody is interested, please visit the city's website for job postings, and you can find information on the job requirements there, and feel free to get a hold of me also if there's any questions. One other final thing, or a couple more final things, the comprehensive plan that was adopted by the council last month is now at its final resting place. The website address is LebanonRedefined.com. So it is there. We'll be updating the city planning department page to include links there as well. But it is out there. It's live. It's available for anybody to be able to check out. And if there's any questions about that information that's out there, please again let us know in the planning department. And one final thing, I know Kevin probably was busy talking about the bike park, but there are several of us going to a trail conference here in a couple of weeks. It's a Sustainable Trails Conference, and there's a lot of information about designing and constructing trails with the nature, make sure you're not impacting things that Kevin talks about. So there's a number of us that are going to be heading out for a few days here in a couple weeks of that, and a lot of good information. We're hoping to learn about building sustainable trails. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Ben. Any questions from the board?
Where's that at, Ben? That's in Bentonville, Arkansas, of all places.
Any questions from the public?
I have a question. Unsafe buildings, what kind of unsafe buildings are we talking about?
Probably the most significant one right now is one that was burned in a fire a few months ago.
Oh, okay.
The site's not secured, but they kind of range from things as damaged as that to much more minor things. But it's usually houses that have broken windows or siding's fallen off, or places where animals can access the house and things like that. So.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And last but not least, Communications, Community Development, Joe LePage.
Good evening, everyone. This weekend is a big weekend for our community. A couple of great events going on February 29th. That's Saturday. We have the 4th annual Savor Lebanon, both events happening at the 4-H Fairgrounds. So we had the Savor Lebanon happening earlier in the day, then right after that, Relish Boone County. So we have some craft beer and some food earlier in the day, and then great food and kind of a who's best is happening later on in the day. So we have at Savor, we have craft beer and wine, great food, Darlington Road. Tickets on sale still, a few left. It's going to be the biggest one we've had so far, and really looking to blow it out for year 4. Also, speaking of blowing it out, Sunday, June 7th, noon to 10 p.m., the Do Groove Smash, 45 RPM, the Tim Newman Band, the Naughty Yachties, and Dave and Ray will be playing at our Boone County Summerfest. Free to attend, free for all ages, great food and beverages. Just uploaded today, edited and uploaded today is episode 27 of the Love and Lebanon podcast. We spoke with Matt Reynolds, who is the board president of Lebanon Little League. We'll put that on our social media channels tomorrow. If you follow our podcast already, you can hear it already. It comes right to your device. Matt and I chat about the 71st year of Lebanon Little League. We talk about more than all the volunteers, the 100 volunteers or so that it takes to put on a season, and paying tribute to a lot of the folks that paved the way throughout the course of the tenure that Lebanon Little League has been in town. And finally, Ben Bontrager and I attended the Retail Attraction Academy, and so we went to Birmingham, Alabama, got some great data dealing with what kind of retail establishments are potentially looking at Lebanon, and Ben and I had actually a meeting with some real estate folks late last week, and were able to pass that data along to them. They found it really beneficial, really helpful. And so looking forward to having that help pave the way for future retail projects, some vacant space being filled, and also some space that's soon to be finalized and built, potentially at Gateway Marketplace, hoping that those can be filled with some quality establishments as well. And so all in all, beneficial, quick jaunt down to Birmingham, Alabama for that. So.
Thank you, Joe. Any questions for Joe from the board?
No.
Anything from the public? Okay, thank you very much. That concludes what I have for department head reports. We'll move on to old business. I don't have anything on my agenda. Anything from the board?
No.
Okay, move on to new business then. First item up is, you're fine, surplus of police cars, Lebanon Police Department. Major Bales. See, I don't remember you. I do remember it. I just proved it to you. So.
That's good, you're good. I've been called a lot worse.
Fair enough.
Lebanon Police Department has 3 2014 Dodge Chargers for surplus, and then the leftover parts from those old 2014 Chargers.
Yes, and we have all the forms been completed. Enterprise has been notified to get the value and request pickup. So we're ready for surplus.
Okay. Any questions for Major Bales or Bill? Okay. Would entertain a motion to surplus the 3 2014 Dodge Chargers.
I make a motion, we surplus the 3 Dodge Chargers, 2014, and the 1 lot of takeoff parts.
Okay. We have a motion. Is there a second? Second. Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next up is a no parking sign on north side of William Street from Kevin Kulik.
I just wanted to give you an update here. This will also be before council later tonight, because any no parking zones have to have the authority of ordinance level for enforcement. But we've received a number of complaints from the adjacent landowner regarding this location. This, to orient you, is William Street. The large building here is Memory Hall. So this, the area that we've highlighted there is the north side of William Street, really from that driveway east to to Meridian Street, where we continually have a lot of enforcement calls for our police department on issues associated with improperly parked vehicles, blocking that residential driveway. You might recall we did an ordinance update, a no parking update last year. And some of the things that were mentioned in that ordinance were, the restrictions of parking associated with, in relationship to driveways, also in relationship to crosswalks. So essentially, to meet all those requirements of separation from driveway and separation from the Meridian Street crosswalk, there's really almost no room left for parking. And given the amount of complaints we've seen there and some recommendations from the police department, we are recommending that we revise our ordinance. Obviously, that will be a council issue, not a Board of Works issue, but we want Board of Works approval as well for placing a sign in the right-of-way, eliminating those parking spaces between that residential driveway and Meridian Street.
Was that already no parking there now?
No, it's not no parking there. There are 3 spots that sort of get squeezed in there. But again, when we take away 10-foot separation from the driveway, 20-foot separation from any crosswalk, there's really not any room left. And given the amount of enforcement issues we've had there over the last couple of years, it's my recommendation, the recommendation from the police department, that we just make that a no parking area to ease and create a better situation for enforcement.
Should we extend that to the west of his driveway, though?
It basically is to the edge of his driveway is how we will word it in the ordinance. It will be 70 feet from the west line of the right-of-way of Meridian Street, which is roughly the center of that residential driveway.
Want to make sure that somebody doesn't block his drive.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'd get a call if they were.
Yeah.
They're definitely not shy about calling.
Yes. Any questions for Kevin? My thought is we do need to make this contingent upon the council adoption of the ordinance.
Exactly.
Is that fair? Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
No.
Any public comment? Okay, would entertain a motion to approve a no parking sign on the north side of William Street, pending council adoption of ordinance 2020-05.
I would make that motion.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, thank you, Kevin. Next up is Fordyce Road Improvements, Grant Street to John Bar Road, GI Consultants Topographical Survey Fee, Proposal, and Agreement. It's Kevin as well.
Yes, thank you. I mentioned this earlier, so I won't bother going into a whole lot more detail. But this is a proposal before you to authorize the topographic surveys and route surveys to collect the data needed so that we can progress the Fordyce Road design. This will include the entire right-of-way, Fordyce Road, essentially from East Street all the way out to John Bart. Remind you that the primary road reconstruction will be from Grant Street to John Bart, but we would like to make provisions in those construction documents to extend the trail that we would propose on Fordyce Street west to and intersecting with the East Street Trail.
And just to clarify, so this is the new section between Grant and East Street, correct?
Correct.
We already voted, because we've already approved it east of Grant Street, correct?
We've not, this has not been before you before.
Okay, so this is for the whole scope.
Right. What you've approved before was the planning level study, or an engineering planning study for the reconstruction of Grant Street. We're actively pursuing and completing that project as we speak. This is basically to go to the next step to produce topographic data that will feed that engineering study, but ultimately will also feed final development of construction documents, which would be another proposal that we would have before you for the engineering of those construction documents, as well as those bidding services to reconstruct that road. Keep in mind, we're kind of tentatively targeting that we could be under construction on Fordyce Street before we get to the construction of Grant Street. So the thought would be tentatively how these would fit together. We could reconstruct Fordyce in 21 and 22, and then in 23 do the reconstruction of Grant Street.
Do we currently have right-of-way along Fordyce?
We do in a lot of places. So the right-of-way acquisition, we think, will be minimal.
Okay.
And certainly, I think as far as the trail between East and Fordyce, we can work that trail in within our existing right-of-way. As far as the road reconstruction from Grant to John Bart, we think we can do some small modifications to alignments to minimize the acquisition issues. We have a large landowner, the Centenary Methodist Church, that has a lot of frontage there. They have expressed a willingness to allow the city to purchase right-of-way on their property so that we could shift that right-of-way onto the church's property and minimize any impacts we have to the residential properties across the street, as well as then as Fordyce turns and runs east and west, we will have the development coming in on the north side on the former school property, and as that comes in, there will be a right-of-way dedication there that would be required for that development, and we can also then shift the road to the north, again, minimizing right-of-way acquisition and impacts to the properties on the south side of the road.
I just was curious. I happened to drive Fordyce the other day and noticed there are probably a lot of people use the right-of-way for parking and structures right now. That I was curious if we make sure we had right-of-way there, so.
Yeah.
Just curious about that. Okay. Any questions concerning the proposal?
Kevin, there's two fees here, and I think they total $64,652.25. Is that correct?
I believe that is the correct amount. I'm sorry.
One's for the Fordyce, the original plan, and the other one is for Grant Street to East Street.
Yes.
Okay, okay,
Yes.
all right. I have no other questions, I just wanted to make sure.
Okay.
I would ask that this be subject to legal review and authorize the mayor to execute the contract.
Okay. So would entertain a motion to approve the fee proposal and agreement, subject to final legal review and authorizing myself to sign on your behalf.
Do we have funding in place for this right now?
This would be a stormwater fund allocation.
Okay.
Anyone make a motion to?
I'll make a motion, we approve the topography survey agreement with GAI Consultants in the amount of, what was that, I said 64,000. I lost my page, sorry. $64,652.25.
Pending final legal review?
Subject to final review of our legal staff and signature by the mayor.
Thank you, Dick. There's a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? All right, it's approved. And last is the stormwater plan review services, Christopher Works, still Kevin.
Yes, thank you. This is a contract that was last updated back in 2016. It was previously executed by the Stormwater Department. Really, there's no change in the services provided by Christopher Burke. They have been reviewing all stormwater projects and private development projects from a stormwater detention, storm sewer, and erosion control aspect, all private development projects as well. The current contract from 2016 is for $100 per hour of consulting time, and they've just asked that they be able to update that to $110 per hour. Keep in mind, fees associated with private development projects are billed to the developer and are reimbursed. But again, we have not updated their fee schedule since 2016, so this would just be to update that fee schedule from $100 to $110 an hour and put this into the, written in the name of the Board of Works as opposed to the Stormwater Board.
Any questions from the board?
This is something we've had for a long time with the Stormwater Board. We've had Christopher Burke doing this for a number of years, and this takes a lot of effort and so forth, and it's a big help to Kevin and his staff to have these guys do this. So I will make a motion that we approve the stormwater plan review service with Christopher Burke Engineering with the updated fees of $110 per hour.
Okay. We have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, it is approved. That concludes what I have for new business. Is there anything from the board?
There's one more at the bottom.
Oh, there is one more.
I've got a drainage improvement contract.
Oh, must have got handed a new version. I apologize. See, I said last but not least, it wasn't. All right, last then is drainage improvement contract, Parks Department. Kevin, I
Yes,
guess?
thank you very much. This is for drainage upgrades associated with the Parks Department project of building the new restroom facility and upgrading their maintenance area. This is for Earth Source is the contractor. The total is $26,800. This is basically to run a new storm sewer, to replace an old and failing storm sewer that runs from the baseball field out to State Road 39. So we will be replacing that. We will be modernizing that storm sewer. In addition, this fee includes correcting a broken storm sewer connection underneath the sidewalk on State Road 39. So this will take care of drainage problems in that area. We've suspected we might need to do this as part of that project, so there was contingency monies put aside for drainage repairs. But I will say this work was already on the radar for the Parks Department and the Stormwater Department, so we had already committed to using stormwater fees to cover this work as well. So We did get 2 quotes on this. The first quote was over $45,000, so obviously the $26,000 number. It's a local contractor, and we feel good about that number and good about their expertise.
Who's the contractor again?
Earth Source,
Earth Source?
yes.
What was the dollar amount?
$26,800.
And so just to clarify, this is not coming from the park budget, this is coming from the stormwater
Correct.
fund to correct this, because it's a stormwater infrastructure issue.
It's a stormwater infrastructure issue, yeah.
Any questions from the board for Kevin?
Nope.
Then I would entertain a motion concerning the drainage improvement contract with Earth Source for $26,800.
I'll make a motion, we approve the drainage improvement contract with Earth Source, an amount of $26,800, right?
Correct.
From the Stormwater Fund for the Parks Department.
We have motions, there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, that is approved. Thank you, Kevin, sorry, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, is there any other new business to come before the board? Okay, we'll move on to claims then, and would entertain a motion concerning the claims.
I make a motion, we approve the claims.
We have a motion to pay the claims, there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Claims are approved. And any announcements, discussion from the board? Okay, would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn, is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, the next Board of Works meeting will be held Monday, March 9th at 5:30 PM. We are adjourned, thanks for watching.